Capricorn season. Thanks for tuning in to the Embodied Astrology podcast. I'm Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer, embodiment educator, and the creator of Embodied Astrology. If you enjoy my readings, make sure to order your 2025 Year Ahead Expanded Horoscope now. These 2-hour Embodied Astrology yearly forecasts for each sign go in depth with the most important transits, offering embodied suggestions for making the most of the opportunities and working skillfully with the challenges. You can order your 2025 reading by clicking the link below. If my work benefits you and you want to help me keep giving these monthly readings for free or help keep all of our offerings at EA financially accessible and sliding scale, please take a moment right now to like, follow, and subscribe to our channels. This is the #1 way you can help us grow. This season's horoscopes are intuitive offerings for each sign of the zodiac. I hope that they serve and support you in some way. Listen for your sun, moon, and rising signs. And remember that not everything is for everyone, so take what works, leave the rest, and make the meaning that's most meaningful for you. Thanks for being here. Onto your horoscope. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Capricorn season. You probably know this, but Capricorn season comes before Aquarius season. And so when we are working with an energy that comes before yours, we are working with the liminal, with the everything, with the collective, with the dream space, with the ancestral space, and with the parts of you that are bigger than the you that you know in this life. You are more than your body. You are more than your mind. You are more than your identity. You are literally made of star stuff. And it's a thing that a lot of us like to say, but saying it is different than tuning in with it. And tuning in with expansiveness and the kind of universal awareness of your breath being the breath of forests and your bones being made of rocks and minerals and the blood inside of your bones connecting with iron in the earth, right? Like, these kinds of meditations and fantasies and wonderings and wanderings about how you are more than who you appear to be and what your ego and identity say that you are, these are the kinds of fantasies and ideas and curiosities and meditations that really serve you right now. So as we move into Capricorn season, I really want to invite you to try and make time and space over the course of this season to indulge these kinds of meanderings. And that could be really well supported in places and spaces where you can have a direct experience outside with the sky and with land is a wonderful place or space to be with the everything. I don't remember where I came across this, but I was reading something recently that was talking about how people who were given encouragement to be outside with trees and looking up for like half an hour, when they were interviewed afterwards, had more inside of their minds and consciousness about kind of a greater sense of belonging. Their heart-mind coherence was stronger. They had more peace and more kind of receptivity in their bodies than people who didn't do that and were like enclosed by walls. So this is a wonderful season to get outside. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and it's cold outside, bundle up, get on out there. Get curious about the ways that the winter supports the summer. Get curious about the ways that death and contraction of earthly life is part of the life cycle. And what has to go underground will also be composted and transformed and become nourishment for what is growing. All right, so Capricorn season is a liminal space for you. There's a lot of feeling of kind of being in the background right now. And even as you might be engaging in the foreground, and there are definitely a lot of things that are calling your attention right now, particularly relationships. A lot of you are thinking about plans and strategies. Maybe particularly you are thinking about plans and strategies for certain relationships. There's definitely focus for a lot of you right now on resources, on money, on material considerations. All of that is important. I'll talk about that in a minute. But there's also this feeling of you kind of being in the background of your own experience right now, and a little bit of a detachment or removal, almost like you're watching your life like a movie as it's happening to you. And that feeling of being in the background is an important feeling for you because it gives you the spaciousness to observe what's happening. And this is a period of time where a lot is changing and a lot of people are trying to see what's coming next and prepare for it. But so much of what's coming next is actually unpredictable. But we can prepare by understanding patterns and having some sense of how we got here. And so there is kind of a feeling right now of you needing to get into your research mode from what Aquarians, I think a lot of you are quite good at, which is like detaching a little bit from the immediate personal and zooming out to see the big picture. And the big picture right now is a landscape of patterns. And the patterns that we are moving through are patterns that have evolved through iteration and repetition of what has already been established. But there's also evolution that's happening. There are changes in the patterns and things that can get tweaked and hacked and invited to express in new and different ways. And I think that that is a very beneficial and generative place for you to direct your attention and, again, your curiosity. Your creativity is being called upon right now. You want to create a new experience for your life. Some of you may be really feeling that you want to be part of creating a new and different experience for others. This could be in general and for the world, or this could be specifically. Those of you who are parents or have some kind of role in tending the future, there is a lot of energy that I think many of you have for helping the future grow right now. And one of the places where some of you are feeling stopped or blocked when it comes to your future goals, your future wishes, how you want to tend and care for and help grow with others, is the area of materiality and financial concern. And there's some tension there right now for a lot of you. There's a feeling in the chart of like, how do you get what you need? How do you resource what is needed? And what do you actually need? And the question of what do you actually need is an important question to be with right now. And I want to encourage you to play around with the idea that what you actually need is other people. You don't need to provide everything for everybody. What you're trying to resource or finance or materialize or support needs more than only you can give it. And other people and relationships and relationality are the place that you can turn to in order to work together brilliantly and effectively to do the things that you want to do. But like they say, other people are your greatest joys and your greatest suffering, right? Like other people are other people. And people are complicated, and people are problematic, and people are traumatized. People are reactive. People are scared. People are confused, and you're a person. And so whatever it is that you're bringing to the equation, you're also peopling, right? You're part of the people, and the people are in a position right now in 2024, heading in 2025, and that position feels like a pickle. I'm just having fun with alliteration, but it is this kind of like moment inside of human development or something where our conflicts with one another and our edginess and our divisiveness and all of our categories are really hot and charged, and there is a lot of friction. And a lot of you are in it right now, and you are trying to figure out how to move forward with people, and other people are trying to figure out how to move forward with you. And some of you might be working conflicts that are really impacting you at the moment. And if you are working those conflicts in the open air right now, I'm glad about it. But also some of you might be feeling really conflicted, and you don't quite know how to deal with it yet, and you're not sure how you want to move forward, but you haven't maybe totally figured out how to communicate about it. Now, I encouraged you last month in Sagittarius season to start to get it out and on the table, but I'm going to say that in Capricorn season, you got to do it. If you haven't done it yet, now is the time. From the solstice, especially through the first quarter moon on January 6th, there is a mounting kind of energy and charge that needs some attention in the relational landscapes. And before I get into more specifics on that, I want to say that you want to be psychically and energetically taking care of yourself so that you can show up for these conflicts or negotiations or evolutions inside of relationships the best you possibly can. And what it feels like to me to psychically and energetically take care of yourself is to spend time being quiet every day, even if all you can get is like 5 minutes somewhere, and really try and be with quietness and quietude. Notice how loud your mind is. So many thoughts, so many things to notice, so many sensory distractions are always floating through our minds. Our minds naturally want to be quiet, but our minds naturally also jump at sensation, and they like the sensation, and they loop with it, and they want to tell stories, and they want to make plans, and they want to identify with themselves, and that means that then there's others that we're going to project on and tell stories about. So if you can meditate for 5 minutes, if not longer, every single day, and try and tune in with the ways that your mind likes to get loud, that would be great. If you can tune in with your reactive patterns, that would be amazing. That would be excellent. And I think that some of you have some reactive patterns that are getting activated right now when you feel possessive. And so possessive could be literally like you are possessive of your time, you're possessive of your money, you feel a sense of ownership over somebody else or over a relationship. Possessiveness can also be about ideas and judgment. You feel like you're right and you're attached to it. Notice your reactive patterns. What happens for you when your sense of security and what you're holding on to gets threatened? How do you respond? What happens in your vibe? What memories start to surface? What stories do you start to tell? what behaviors emerge inside of you? What does your emotional affect start to exude into the space? What sensations live inside your body? Meditate with actual circumstances in your life that cause you to feel gripped around something that you feel like you own, that you feel like is yours. That could be your personal truth, as well as all kinds of other things in the material and the relational landscape. What happens to you? Who do you become? Because you're working situations right now that are going to bring that up. And you want to be ready for it. Because your reactive patterns are not what's going to help you right now. Your capacity to rework your reactivity is what will help you. And Aquarius, especially as the fixed air manifestation in the zodiac, can be in ways that are hard to relate with sometimes. Now, you might have a lot of other placements in your chart. This might not apply to you in many ways, but a lot of Aquarius energy is both brilliant and challenged in the ways that it can be analytical and distant and intellectual and think that it sees the whole picture. Aquarius energy can sometimes shut off its heart because it feels kind of out of its body. And there's something in your chart right now that is asking you to get more tender and soften your heart and cultivate your capacity to be present with listening and rework reactive patterns that might have you on the defense, on the offense, on the attack. But that's actually not what's needed. Someone else might need to express their feelings to you. There might be a conflict or a difference of opinions that doesn't equate to you losing what's yours. And it certainly doesn't equate to life and death, but that's how you're reacting to it. And then that won't allow for the situation to move forward. And maybe it's not you. Maybe it's someone else that's being like that. But if it's someone else that's being like that, they're not going to be helped by you also being like that. And so then how you meet the situation is to soften your heart. And so Capricorn season starts with some fire. It's like an earth sign season, but it starts with some strong fire. And building up to the first week of January, there is strong fire. There is charge. Now, this looks like a period of time for me when a lot of you are feeling fired up, you are feeling charged, and you might be on the receiving end of somebody else's fire or their charge. And your mission right now is to be as thoughtful as possible and to really try and see the big picture, to understand the pattern. How did we get here? What is happening? Don't make it so small and myopic into the personal where it's like, well, that person is doing this thing and da-da-da and I'm like this, because that's separating the circumstance from the larger picture that it's part of. And you don't know what's going on for other people. They might be having a whole landscape of experience that is informing what's going on for them in the way that they're meeting you. And if all you see is the front of their face and you don't take the time to kind of get curious about what's behind them, you're not going to be able to meet that conflict skillfully. So your capacity to be with charge right now is what uplevels you emotionally and intellectually and relationally. You actually have to be the bigger person right now. Your life is asking you to hold perspective, to gain awareness, to cultivate consciousness, to not get reactive and petty. Build capacity. Your breath is going to help you. Your body is going to help you. The ability to like put your hand on your heart or hold your own belly or like rock and sway your body and have some softness in yourself and try and feel in your inner body what somebody else or what others are going through, that up-levels you. That delivers you into new realms of relationship. And I need you to know that not everybody will have the capacity to do that with you right now. Some people might not have it right now. They might feel so reactive that that's all that they can see. And so we need you to be the bigger person. And we need you to be the bigger person for yourself as well. And being the bigger person is not detaching. It's not avoiding. It's not closing off and like getting really like rigid or something like that. It is reminding yourself that you are soft, that other people are soft, that the ways that reactivity emerges are complex, and that feelings come and go, and sometimes feelings burst out, but they're also changing. Now, as we get into the second half of Capricorn season, basically from the first week of January forward and into Aquarius season, there's a real tonal shift. And I think a lot of people are going to be going more deeply into their feelings at this point, and I think that you are too. And this is a period of time that might feel pretty limiting in certain ways. And especially in the Aquarius chart, I'm feeling that a lot of you, that your energy is contracting a bit right now. And the sensation that I have is that you really need to care for yourself. You need to care for your heart, you need to care for your body and your body-mind. And in caring for yourself, I want to ask you and invite you to care for everything that is part of you. And so that means all of your relationships, it means the air, it means the land, it means the past, it means the future. The more that you can cultivate tenderness towards yourself and the everything right now, the more equipped you will be to do the work that needs doing. And many Aquarians are really invested in humanitarian causes. A lot of you are strategists, you're big picture thinkers, you're systems workers, you're organizers. And this is a period of time that is an all hands on deck kind of moment. There is deeply a sense of needing to prepare for what is coming next. And a lot of you have a lot of work to do. And I feel like many of you know that what is needed from you is for you to be a protector of what is most vulnerable and precious and who is most vulnerable and precious. But in order to be a protector, you also need to be an ally. You need to be able to listen. You don't want to take other people's voices away. You might not be an expert on what they need. And so you also need to be held in relationship. You need to be able to learn. You need to be able to feel humble. You need to be held by other people. And so this feeling of other people are your greatest resource right now and your greatest challenge. Figuring out how to evolve together on Earth in 2025 from where we've come from is a puzzle, because we're coming from a lot of messy, unfinished, traumatic experiences. We're coming from generations of abuse and oppression. We're coming from a lot of erasure. We're coming from many deeply practiced habits of coping. And how we work the interworkings of our relationships, I'm going to say that's where the revolution is happening. And so if you are an Aquarius that is focused on the world and you're like, that needs to change and this needs to change and this is the way, I love you. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing. Make sure that you are doing the micro level evolution as well as fighting for the big revolution out there. Make sure that you are tending to the interstitial, to the space between and around relationships, because that is where so much of the important foundation building and fortitude is going to come from in order to do that more external work. And that's what we're going to be talking about next season when we get to Aquarius time. So I hope that any or all of this feels supportive for you now, Aquarius. I am wishing you all the best in Capricorn season and beyond. Sending you a lot of love. Bye for now. Thanks so much for listening to your Capricorn season reading. If this horoscope resonated for you, please show your support by liking, following, and subscribing, and by sharing this work with your friends and community. And if you want more, don't forget to order your 2025 year ahead reading, where I go in depth with the big picture and main themes of this year for your sun, moon, and rising signs. This season, I hope you'll join me for Somatic Space, which is a class I offer every Monday where we prepare ourselves to work with the astrology of the week ahead through gentle healing body practices, breathwork, meditation, and visualization. You can drop in once to try it out, or if you become a member, you'll also get access to the past classes video archive, as well as Tea Time, which is a monthly meetup and conversation space where we learn and share how astrology is moving through our lives. You can find more information about working with me and other Embodied Astrology events in the show notes or through the study section at embodiedastrology.com. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for listening and engaging. I truly hope to see you in an Embodied Astrology space soon. Bye for now.